the tablet is charging. Now I used to have a really long cable back in the day, and that broke. So at some point in the future I have to get it because it was obviously very long, and when it's charging, obviously you don't have to stand too close to it. But anyway, we'll be live for a while. We'll probably be only live until 10 o'clock, and then we'll go on to the Far Cry. So that's what we will do. And I'm just playing a bit of Hearts of Iron 4 in the background of them here. So yeah, I suppose you just switch it like that a bit. Yeah, it's kind of awkward when you're here now. I could just, let me see, I'm trying to find the best angle, kind of. I'm going to angle it for a second. Let me see, I'll just leave it there for a second. I have to fix something. Where am I here for a second? Sorry. Yeah, so I was just moving something there. I think that's Sean. Let me just pop up there for a second. Hello, Sean. I presume it is. Let me see. Do I have live chat on? Good evening, Sean. I was thinking I seen your name from the other side of the room. Yeah, so that'll be fine though. Oh, I just, yeah, like that. Be fine. So the light is a bit nuisance for them. Finished colours. Indeed. I agree. Again, apologies to everybody. We didn't go live last night on Far Cry. It just was a bit too tired, to be totally honest with you. But hopefully tonight we'll do a 2 hour now. We'll do 2 hours. No, I don't know. It probably won't be extreme. We're only doing this for half an hour here. It's probably around 11 or 12 we probably start on Far Cry. A good one, indeed. I watched a bit of it. I seen a bit of it. I didn't see all of it, but I seen the end of it. A good bit of the end of it, but the last 20 minutes or so. Yeah. They're doing well, Calvin. So fair play to them. And there's some crack tonight. The same as Fermanagh. Fermanagh did well too. Everybody played very good. A win is a win, indeed. It's over. Yeah, but I only seen I didn't see the whole match, so. But the last 20 minutes I seen, it seemed like everybody did their best anyway. From where I was watching it. So yeah, but again we won't be here for long. We'll go later on. We'll be live for about 2 hours. I don't know, Far Cry, to get a good bit out of the way. So we'll be live for a bit longer. Then tomorrow night we'll be live for a bit longer too, to make up for the last few days I wasn't live. Because we're not that much left in Far Cry. We'll have a bit more left. Like very little. There's still good bits, still good chunk of stuff to do. But not as much as you think, I suppose. I don't know. I actually don't know. I presume it'll be some kind of yoke. Like similar to what happened when Cavan won the championship in 2020. 2020, wasn't it? In 2021, they came through here with everybody in the country lined up for them, basically. But I presume to be some kind of the homecoming celebration yoke. I don't know too much about it, but I say there probably be something organised. Hastily organised tonight or something. But yeah, so we have to wait and see what happens anyway. Push that. I don't need that to it. I don't need that here. Go throw that in the bin. In the bin. In the bin. First day of April Fool's today. So already April, that's how I do. Just thinking of that this evening, that it's already April. March flew by. So yeah, you'll find an hour into. We'll find an out. They will find an out of June or July. Then August they'll find it. Don't take notifications. Did you get a notification, Sean? Because there was a problem yesterday too with notifications. It went out about 15 minutes into the stream. You gotta take notifications of Banjo on our channel here. Our channel, comrade. How do you feel, Captain Man? Give him a shove an axe and tell him to pick. Yeah, well, you can't put the wool over Captain Man's eyes. Very difficult to do. Give me a second. Hello again, sorry. You got notifications, sorry, I was getting me tea. Yeah, you got the notification, yeah, so I don't know. It'll probably just iffy notifications. Because it went out 15 minutes. What did I do here? No, the computer was moving itself by itself there for a second. Did I have a key pressed or something? Yeah, it was moving by itself there for a second, so without me touching it, so probably pressed the button by mistake, but it's fine now. Yeah, apologies for that again. Going to the pub tonight, everybody, yeah. Everybody in Cavan, so you wouldn't see many people in Cavan tonight. Around and about. Happy tea, you know. How we looking charging wise? 76. Hello, Evan. How are you doing? I'm getting a nice check in the post anyway tomorrow, so well, not tomorrow, but Monday, obviously. I've been well looked after by the Social Democratic Party, of course. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what was happening there for a second. But so yeah, we'll be live in Far quite later on for about 2 hours anyway. So that'll be around 11 o'clock, could be half 11, it could be 12 o'clock around that time. Anyway, so it'll be a bit later on, I know. So yeah, it's just kind of just chilling for the moment, I suppose. We're not really doing too much, just kind of having relax and chilling. Hello, Stephen. How are you? How are we feeling tonight? How are we feeling after Cavan won, Stephen? How are we feeling about that? We are delighted. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I actually think I just said that actually. So I was thinking so. Oh, so nobody look on my Twitter at the moment, please, if you can. No one have a look at it. So yeah, but anyway, it was a good game, the Cavan Fermanagh game. Fair play to Cavan and fair play for Manor. They did well. Hello, Fiona. How are you? How is this Saturday going? I woke up this morning thinking it was Sunday for some reason. Just to say. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that Cavan won. I'm always glad when we win something, especially when it's dissolved, you know. And they did do well. I'm not going to say they didn't do well. If they didn't do well, I'd be saying they're fucking useless. But they did well. They did well, and they solved to win. The best team won, as they say. When's the vote? The voting starts tomorrow, I think. The 2nd of April. So it's I don't know. I'm getting a check anyway Monday morning, so I'd be very happy with that. A brand new check. Actually, sorry, my 100 check from the SDLP, of course. Of course. Next inauguration. Let me see who that. Having a brain fit for a second, sorry. I often have these brain fits where I can't remember what I was going to do. Now I can remember what I was going to do. Aye, that's fine. Sorry, I was just I meant to look at the mess earlier on. I just clicked to that. I had to look at it. Oh yeah, did anybody see on Twitter too? Speaking of Twitter earlier on, did anybody see about Owen O'Brien, the Sinn Féin spokesman for housing? Did anybody see that tweet? I know there's a lot of whinging and quibbing and crying at the moment. Well, I suppose it's kind of it kind of anything to do with evictions and stuff like that. Obviously, going back through our history, uh, more than any other country has a huge, it brings out a huge amount of emotion in Irish people. Because obviously years ago, the landlords, what they did to the poor Irish tenants back in the day, poor Irish farmers, majority of them, during the potato famine especially too, they couldn't afford to pay the rent, and so the OIC and all that kicking them out of houses and stuff like that. Um, so you get what I'm saying. So it kind of wings a lot. But yeah, he basically put up a tweet about basically replacing the black and no, not the black and tans, but the OIC with An Garda Síochána Conaill. The Gaudi are not happy, but it kind of is true in a way, because the Gaudi do, like when people squat in their houses and stuff like that. I've often seen them, go and take people out of the houses when the judges order them to be taken out and things like that. So, and especially now, because waiting to see the Gauds might be taking them all out. Anybody that won't go out and has nowhere else to go, you know, unfortunately, it's kind of a bit true in a way. That's just the way I see it. Is in my area in Clondalkin? Yeah, Clondalkin is it for Clondalkin. What's going on? I don't know anything about Santa's politics. Uh, Basically, SDLP, Social Democratic Party. Um, it's a bit, I don't know really how to go from there, I suppose. But basically, a bit more better than Social Democrats here and people before profit. Let's put it that way. Let's put it this way: the actual government actually gives a shit about people. Um, they actually do. Like if you look at Finland at the moment, they actually seem to give a shit compared to this country that they don't seem to care at all what happens in this country. Who's that? Oh, that's the people for profit for. Yeah. Well, I don't think they like anything at all. They want to give it a private property to, and it shouldn't be the same, but they won't say it out straight. But you know, who? Oh, you talking about the SDLP? Are you talking about that? Well, let's put it this way: they're a lot better than people before profit or anything like that over here. Let's put it that way. Because at least in Finland, I will say this: there's very few and in between homeless. With the House and Forced Initiative. If you ever seen that, like that alone, that blows your mind when you see that. That everybody nearly has a home, and nobody's on the street or anything like that. So when you see that, you're like, you know, to any Irish person, that's like fucking, you know, that's incredible what they have done. You know. Hello, Shawnee. How you doing? Yeah, they're pretty much all that way. Apart from, I don't know about Fianna Fáil for the game, like they're kind of going that way. They'd have an outright said it, but we all kind of know the people for profit. What was Social Democrats? Are probably Sinn Féin, but they won't come out and say it, but they're kind of all up to get your property. Hip hop, get off my property. Uh, what else was there? Feels like there was supposed to be something else. That's right, yeah. Hello, Tony. Good evening. How are you? I'm sure you were watching the game today. I say that's what you're just about to go and ask me now. After that, Tony. I said it before you. See, I'm a fortune teller. None of them feel at home. A few in Fab. Oh yeah! Apparently, there's supposed to be people who from Ukraine that can vote in the local county election. Apparently, I say that I haven't checked it up yet. Um, or from supposedly Ukraine or whatever. Yeah, I know that, only. I was just about to say that's what you probably were going to say after you. Hello. Um, supposedly. Again, I don't know. I can't confirm. I'm just saying. I've seen a few things, and a few people tell me a few things. That they might be under the European Union or something like that, vote or something like that. For the local Tauri now election, not the general election yet. And that's next year, the local Tauri elections. But it's not confirmed now. It's not confirmed 100%. So I look into it a bit more and find someone. But supposedly. But yeah, it doesn't look too busting anyway around the country who's running at the moment. Hello everyone. Indeed. Oh yeah, but Donald Trump. I remember we talked before about Donald Trump. He's been indicted now. So he'll probably be arrested sometime this week or next week coming. Well, obviously this week coming basically. So, but the I don't think it was thick, to be totally honest with you, because they're kind of going on something that is, it's very questionable if it can't even be prosecuted. They only indicted them; they didn't prosecute yet. Because obviously under the United States Constitution, the same as every country's constitution and law, particularly, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty. That's the way it goes. You have to be proven guilty before you're convicted of a crime, obviously. So yeah, no, he's going to be arrested at some point. It's a long story, basically, but the case is you're fairly shallow, to be totally honest. So. But I don't think it'll work. I don't think it's going to work out. Because it's a very different case. We don't know. Yeah, very political. Yeah, but it's definitely Joe Biden and stuff that they don't want. They just don't want Donald Trump to win again. Even though I'm not the biggest Donald Trump fan, I was like, but I still don't. It's questionable. That's what I has to show up. Oh, he just has to show up, right? Okay, that's fine. I didn't know. Some people were saying to me he's going to be arrested. Well, he has to kind of be proven guilty, before he can, do that. Yeah, well, thanks for clarifying that, Sean. Though I didn't know that. But you know what I'm saying. Something could happen. Basically, that's what I'm saying. It kind of depends. Oh yeah, it's before. I don't know if it's before he's with Melania. But yeah, it's kind of questionable, because it happens all the time with celebrities. People claim, "Oh, I had a relationship with this one. I had a relationship with that one," and the celebrity would be like, "Here's some hush money. Be quiet and keep your mouth closed." Um, it happens all the time. You know. Yeah, but like that's literally nearly every person in the world. Joe Biden, you could go with Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. They have a habit of bombing loads of hospitals with civilians in them, or schools and stuff like that. You know, kind of always happens to be totally honest. Yeah, we're supposed to be coming soon, Joe Biden. Speaking of Joe Biden, yeah, he'll be coming soon to Ireland, particularly Mayo, and then I think he's going to Loud. Actually, no, he's going to Belfast first, then he's going to Loud, and then Mayo. So, supposedly. Well, actually, not supposed to be, that's actually fact. It's actually fact. Hello, Bitfun, how are you? Good to see you. Who am I in a relationship with? Nobody. He paid Ho off in 2006. Yeah, there was something to do with the campaign in 2016 when he was running for presidential election in the United States in 2016. Um, yeah, but the lapses at the time, um, you know, the lapses of time is, there's a thing in America where if it's too long, if the offences after happened, like say 10 years ago, there's a lapse of time in the category. Man. He doesn't know whether Buddhist in Kettica. He doesn't know. He doesn't know any. He probably talk about Buddhist in the United States. Like there's a Buddhist in the United States, but it's not a village or anything. It's just kind of an area. So he wouldn't actually probably even know that's a place because it's in the back end of nowhere, in some place in Tennessee or something like that, somewhere there. So my things keep going. And my hat went to fucking America when it's supposed to. When it clearly said in the package, the Republic of Ireland. Cavan Republic of Ireland. Clearly said it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. When's the finish? Hopefully, hopefully soon. Anyway, um, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Wake up, Joe. Everybody should talk to. We should all go down and see Joe Biden. So it'd be funny. I don't even really know where he is, I suppose, what's it called. Joe Biden. Oh, it's only Joe Biden. I was going to say Kamala Harris could be coming with him too. But Kamala Harris is in Africa at the moment, so it's in Ireland or whatever. Well, I don't know, but nice to see him come as us. It wouldn't be like especially John F. Kennedy. Like basically when John F. Kennedy, ever seen the videos of John F. Kennedy coming to Ireland? Basically the whole fucking country came out to see him. Because basically he was technically Irish in a way. He's quite, technically, so it's an Irish person coming home. Not many people in Ireland really care too much for Joe Biden. He might care for Ireland, but not many people do care for him. Not many. People. John F. Kennedy would be more well liked than any other president probably in U.S. history. Joe, no, not fucking John F. Kennedy. In Ireland particularly. That's not really any other president would swing to mind now. Probably would be vampires actually. There's probably some parts of the Kennedy that probably would. Yeah, the Irish media having a field there with Donald Trump. OT's talking about it non-stop. Because they finally have something to talk about. Oh, in Wyoming, no right. That's where my yoke keeps going. That's where my hats and stuff keep going. To go to some place in America. Don't know why. Especially because it says Republic of Ireland. And it's only literally coming from a few miles. Well, not a few kilometres down the road, let's be fair. George Washington. I still think Abraham Lincoln was the best president of America. To be totally honest with you. During the American Civil War. I still think I think it'd be Abraham Lincoln. It'd probably be George Washington then probably JFK. They'd be my picks. They'd be my top picks anyway. And then probably Teddy Roosevelt too. So that'd be my top 4 picks. But yeah, George Washington would be second. New Ross, yeah, that's where his great grandfather came from. Yeah, everybody would go mad in town, but they wouldn't be spending too much, but they'd be there. Yeah, he used to go. He loved Ireland. Full stop. He didn't have a favourite place. I suppose he loved Ireland. Full stop. Um, but obviously liked Wexford because that's where his grandfathers came from. Oh yeah, well I know George Washington didn't agree with political parties and stuff like that. I know George Washington didn't agree, and he didn't want to be president first of all. He was kind of forced to be president because nobody else, they didn't think anybody else would be more deserving of the presidency. But I understand what you're saying. He didn't like politics. He thought of himself as a general more than in the Continental Army, more than a president or anything like that. And he came up with the word president too. They were going to call him king or whatever. And he came up with the word president because he thought it was more noble. Like obviously before king, because obviously king you want a bigger pedestal than president. Um, and he kind of set the term presidents that only presidents can run 2 terms in office. Apart from FDR, obviously he done 4 years, but that's during the Second World War. But it's amended into the United States Constitution. If you run for president now, you can only do 2 terms. No matter what age you are, you can only do 2 terms. So again, George Washington set that preference for presidents only to serve 2 terms, which is 4 and 4, 8 years, isn't it? I disagree. I think FDR done the best he could during the circumstances, particularly then you think about the Great Depression. Herbert Hoover, he caused the Great Depression because obviously he could have done something to train something. But obviously the recovery in America, FDR you're done very, very well in getting America back going during the late 30s, the beginning of the 30s and into the 40s and stuff, into the Second World War. Uh, only for FDR, the New Deal would never have happened. There was loads of highways and dams and built during the New Deal. Sorry, the New Deal. So he created a lot of jobs. Not only for FDR, America would have been in a bad state going into World War II if they didn't have FDR. And so I kind of disagree with it, but I kind of in some cases you could say he was unfaithful to his wife in some circumstances. But the vast majority of what he did which was very good, was it James Buchanan, Sean? James Buchanan's parents came from Donegal. Now I don't have much time for James Buchanan. Uh, I don't know. It's kind of hard to know. James Buchanan. Yeah, I was thinking James Buchanan's from Donegal. That way, his parents originated from James Buchanan. James Buchanan, I think, was the worst president in the United States history. I mean, no offense, John, but I think he was the worst person in the United States history. There's a lot of reasons I could get into, but definitely not the best. Let's put that. Uh, Hello, Owen. So it's good long to see you. How are you doing? How was things? How was the Saturday going? Um, yeah, like I don't even have to get into what I could go on about James Buchanan. Like definitely without a doubt one of the worst presidents in United States history. FDR massive deal. I know he increased obviously the size of the federal government and stuff like that. But he kind of did in the short term. Obviously we're speaking about the Great Depression, Herbert Hoover and stuff like that. America was broken, literally was broken into pieces. But only for FDR's New Deal. It simply wouldn't have been possible for America to get back up after that big hit they took financially during the Wall Street crash. Um, it's only for that, it wouldn't have been possible. The way I see it, I don't think the other people who are like Herbert Hoover didn't have a clue what he was going to do after the Wall Street crash. He didn't know basically what to do. Like it was a big thing. Like you nearly had probably 90% of the country out of work. Probably 80% could have been, and a worldwide depression across the whole world. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to do. But and then obviously the Second World War obviously took a huge toll on FDR's health, which where he died in 1945, before Hitler's death before April, so it was in March or sometime. Um, But he died. He obviously was in the wheelchair. He had problems with walking. He couldn't walk. So all of them taken into effect, I think he was a good, decent president. He was a decent president. One out of money and other people's money. I kind of I see what you're going with, but in that kind of terms, he done well. The way I see it, because I don't know what I would have been able to do. During the Great Depression, after trying to get the economy back going, and then obviously the Second World War. It would have been a lot on anybody. I don't think I could have done it, to be totally honest. Having to fight a global conflict with the Empire of Japan, then you had the Germans and the Italians, and having to fight a two-front war. That's a difficult thing, and then obviously the Great Depression, trying to get America up and going again. Not many people could have done it. So at least we can give them that. I know in the long term, it probably did hurt the economy. Lower taxes increase the production. Simple, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but James Buchanan, obviously, he's kind of the worst person you could go to. If you think our politicians are bad, well, to be totally honest, they're getting like James Buchanan a bit. So. But yeah, James Buchanan would have been the worst president, I think. And what the what? Like James Buchanan, then who else? Probably Franklin Pierce too. Yeah, Franklin Pierce. Yeah, I don't know who really else would pick. Probably Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Wake up, Joe. What was Sean saying to me a few minutes ago? He was saying something. I'm just jealous, Adrian. Excuse me. It's jealous. Excuse me. Yeah, well, the two Bushes wasn't that good. I'd say Joe Biden too is joining them, to be totally honest. Yeah, I'd say the two Bushes. Barack Obama, I think he was not too bad. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst at the same time. So, I'm kind of 50-50 on him, to be honest. But definitely the two Bushes were the worst. Obviously, they have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, first of all. Don't have to explain that they never found anything, so. Then obviously the two Bushes liked the war, and they just were war mongrels. They loved, along with Blair too, they loved war. War was good business, as they would probably say. Yeah. But it's how I knew that James Buchanan. Before Sean said it, I kind of knew James Buchanan because his relatives used to come from Donegal, like when his father or whoever was mother. Then Franklin Pierce's relatives, I think came from Loud too. Weapons of mass destruction, exactly. Yeah, Clinton wasn't. I forgot about Clinton too. Clinton wasn't a good. But Obama wasn't that bad. I will say that he wasn't. He wasn't the worst. Let's be fair. The worst. But obviously, Clinton, the two Bushes wasn't good at all. That's what I. Yeah, the Soviet conflict. Yeah, neither was heavily involved in that anyway. Yeah, Trump was kind of made. Yeah, in my opinion, he kind of was made. But obviously, he was a lot better than the two Clintons, I know. And then obviously, not the two Clintons, two Bushes, sorry, and then Clinton. And I think it was a big shock to the establishment anyway, because obviously everybody thought Hillary Clinton would win. Because obviously they have connections in Washington and all that, etc., etc. And it was a good kick in the face as well. Stuff. He was right about he was right about Europe in the sense he said Germany was completely reliant on Russia. And I remember members of the German Parliament were laughing at him when he said Germany is completely reliant on Russian energy. And a few years later, look at the mess at the moment. Like he was right about that, and he was right about people, saying about NATO that people are not contributing much to NATO; they're contributing less because obviously you're supposed to contribute so much to NATO a year, and obviously the United States contributes more than the recommended amount. The United States contribute a fucking astronomical amount of money to NATO, more than probably any other country in NATO. Because obviously, if you join NATO, you have to agree to pay so much towards the alliance. So, and he did say it straight to them that that there's got to be the need to up their game based now. And he's kind of right. Europe was too aligned on Russia to be not really the US. Before, like only now they kind of get more aligned in the US. Like it's only now. Before that, they were too reliant on Russia and Canada. Now all of a sudden they're relying on the US. You know. Yeah, but they contribute financially, Iceland. And obviously, the reason why Iceland joined NATO, the United States were one of the founding members of NATO, because obviously it's in a very strategic position, very, very strategic position, up in the Arctic. And obviously, the United States wanted to have that area for themselves, obviously, in case the Soviet Union could Iceland or whatever. So obviously, it's strategically important for NATO to have Iceland. Even though they didn't have a standing army, it's very important for them to have it. If that makes any sense. Yeah, well, definitely the Nord Stream power line. Definitely there's something about that. Obviously, it has something. There must have been something happened with NATO and stuff like that. Norway has not natural gas. Indeed, it does. Yeah. Yeah, as Santa Maria said, Europe only for the United States at the moment. Europe would be fucked at the moment, because the United States is kind of only for the United States in terms of getting oil and stuff like. Because obviously the EU at the moment has a big deal with the United States to get oil and get gas and stuff. So only for the United States at the moment, as Santa said, you we would be pretty fucked right now. And Ukraine especially would be very fucked. Because the United States is literally giving them billions and billions of euro. That no other country in the world could do it, only the United States, basically. Two plagues. Now we have a Biden that's clueless. Yeah, he's actually clueless. He doesn't know where he is. Who is there's a great grandson of one of the presidents. What they call James K. Polk's great grandson, isn't it? Is still alive. He's nearly 102 or something like that. Well, I suppose you can add probably Finland at the moment, to be totally honest. Because Finland has a very good reserve army anyway. Nearly a million people they could call up. So Finland very strong basically. But yeah, the United Kingdom at the moment, the United States, one of the United States generals basically said it, that the UK at the moment is basically a second class military power now. That they don't have the power that they used to have. Um, yeah. And then obviously Turkey too, what I'm talking about. Turkey has nearly 500,000 people in the army, like active in the army in Turkey. Like they have a big army in Turkey. But obviously fad to be a bit more powerful from the UK and too. Yeah, like even Kamala Harris there, it's very vice presidents are kind of very irrelevant, you know. Yeah, don't remind us of the corporate now. Sorry. Not to think about Kwan. I think he's a bit of a box, to tell you honestly. Particularly the one with the pensions. And now I know Matt Connor said, and I know kind of looking at statistics, that it isn't really feasible to do what the people want. But they should do what the people want because obviously the people are the boss, basically. And I don't think they should increase the pension age. Because I kind of know where he's going. He's talking. I know what he's talking about. That people are getting older, and the state has to pay more and more out. It's the same here. It's the same everywhere. But the people want it to stay at the same age, so they should have it. It's that democracy rules. The will of the people rules. You know. And particularly that Macron wanted to pass it without Parliament's approval. Obviously, Parliament had slightly passed it by, not by much now. But the way he kind of wanted to just push it in without anybody noticing it was very scummy, in my opinion. And I never really liked Macron, I know. Thought he was very arrogant in some cases. Make himself king, I don't know, but make himself king. But I know what he said about pensions. It's the same here. More people are getting older. Like I'm sure everybody agrees here. People are getting older, and the state has to pay out huge amount of money in pensions in Ireland and England and everywhere. And it's a huge amount of money. Basically, we're talking about billions a year. We're talking about billions a month, like billions a year. So I can kind of see where he's going, but at the same time, the will of the people win. You know. Yeah, Napoleon done the try. Yeah, but I don't know what to do. It would work well now. Because the United States probably kick his ass. Let's be fair. Because you don't want to annoy the United States, basically, and particularly again with NATO, an attack on one is an attack on all. So, not go well basically if you attack a NATO country. That's what I. So if he went after Belgium or Luxembourg or anything like that, yeah, it wouldn't go well. Let's put that. Yeah, with China and Russia having a field day, particularly China having a field day in South America, and in Africa they're having a field day. Yeah, but I don't think France could do what they did in Napoleon's time, because NATO was still too powerful. Like France would be really nothing if all the NATO members aligned and went to total war, basically. You would see a huge build-up of troops and stuff like that. Like, you couldn't really beat it. Maybe they might win in the short term, but in the long term, the United States, because obviously the United States war industry, and then obviously the United Kingdom too, is very big. That's what I say. And there's no way France could outproduce the United States along with the rest of NATO, basically. Unless they geared up with Russia or China. I'm giving them ideas, am I? A bit like a market, about the market, like. Oh, I can know what you're talking about, yeah. Finland's official, we're nearly official member of NATO now. So, it wouldn't go well. Well, it didn't go well last time to try to attack Finland. So, it probably not the best idea to try again. Angela Merkel, is that what you're talking about? You're talking about our jails. Wished. 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 Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Everybody's gone quiet all of a sudden now. As soon as the message turns up, everybody's like, wished, there's more news. Wished. Say nothing until you hear more. Ooh. And we go for another 10 minutes or so, and then we be back later on with Far Cry. So that's what we do. Now, it's very well, to be totally honest with you. China at the moment, you see with Iran, Saudi Arabia, China broke the peace basically with them. So China's taken on basically the United States kind of in global influence. Like China literally kind of improved the relationship more, Saudi Arabia and Iran, than the United States has done. So when you see that, you're like, oh, there's something going on. I don't know, Tony. I don't know where he is. Retire and shorter of your life is you better off keep walking. Shortens your life. Yeah, but I know, but people can't have walk too long, I suppose. People need to have a break and kind of have their own downtime, because again, we're only here on a holiday on Earth, unfortunately. And the 45 the Second World War fought this emergency here. Yeah, that's what it was called, the Second World War here, emergency. Simple title, just the emergency. Yeah, like when you see that happen, you're like, the Middle East is going to be unstable soon anyway. Like, let's put it that way. Because obviously Israel, the United States, that's the former United States territory, basically. But when you see them against Saudi Arabia used to be a great ally of the United States, but when you see them start sliding towards China, obviously Iran is obviously with China. This is a cause for concern basically for the United States. When was the Middle East able to? I suppose. I don't know. It might have been for DocuCenter. But no, it was definitely the reason why the Middle East is like this at the moment is because obviously the colonialism. The United Kingdom used to own Lebanon and used to own Jordan and used to own Palestine and Israel. They used to own all them territories. And it's kind of all colonial, to be totally honest. It's the same with Vietnam. It used to be a French colony. And Vietnam wanted its independence, and that's what basically happened. And then there was civil war and stuff like that. And then obviously the Dutch East Indies used to be in the modern day Indonesia. They wanted their independence. The Dutch didn't want to give it to them, and you had the Dutch independence. So bollocks, not good diplomat for reasons. I know, but in Irish terms, like imagine if we got Danny Healy-Way to go over to Brussels and stuff like that. Like you think Danny Healy-Way would go over, and to talk nice to them basically. Danny Healy-Way be like, you's fuck good in pillocks or something. Now you go on, like let's be fair. I'm like Danny Healy-Way. You're just true Irishman. You just say what you think. The famine in Yemen was caused by treason. Well, Yemen's it's a very complicated thing, I suppose, what's happening in Yemen. But obviously, it's not talked about enough. Anyway, what's happening in Yemen, because obviously, there's pain and suffering happening in Yemen, and it's kind of been forgotten about by the rest of the world, I suppose. So and obviously Saudi Arabia could do a bit more of the water too, but they don't. But Yemen should be talked about a bit more. That's all I say. Because there's things happening in Yemen. There's people starving every day as we speak. Another whisper on the news. Another whisper. So it's not what he fell. Yeah, man. Yeah, if I might say it funnily. But no, it isn't fair now. What's happening? But again, Yemen used to be a former British colony back in the day too. So a lot of this is from colonialism and stuff like that. A lot of it's from, and then obviously when they gained the independence, a lot of the countries, uh, a lot from the West and stuff, civil wars and stuff like that. That's what happened. It's the same in the Congo. Um, they wanted to gain independence from Belgium, and basically that's what happened in the Congo. Basically, it didn't go well. Like particularly the Middle East, obviously, because the United Kingdom and France, particularly Syria too. We talk about Syria at the moment. There's lots of suffering happening in Syria. It used to be a French colony too, Syria. King Leopold, yeah, his own private colony. Yeah. And nobody talks about Belgium and what they did. Well, not really what they did. It's kind of what King Leopold did. That's kind of uh, it's Leopold's fault to be totally honest. Well, along with some Belgian soldiers and stuff like that. But nobody talks about it now. It's kind of a footnote. Roger Kirsten, a lot of people did back in the day, but nobody listened as well. Um, isn't a real nation. Well, a lot of people say that about Finland too, and New Zealand too, because New Zealand's left out of a lot of maps. If you look at the world map, majority of the places, no one talks about the colonialism of the USSR. Oh yeah, well you talk about when they took over Poland and stuff like that, Mongolia and stuff like that. Satellite says yeah, like that too. But a lot of apart from Belarus, and Kazakhstan, you know, the vast majority of what the USSR used to own um, is stable. You know, it's a stable country at the moment. Apart from Uzbekistan and Belarus, obviously people in Belarus are not happy in Uzbekistan. Actually, no, Georgia and Armenia down the in the Caucasus. Um, they're in a bit of trouble. They fight among each other every once in a while. But you know, in the grand, it's mainly British and French colonial rule that sparked a lot of it. And then obviously the United States too. The emergency, there two bombings. Yeah, like there was bombings in Ireland in the Second World War. There were Dublin. One part of Dublin was one part of the area of Dublin, like a house in the city was literally leveled. Basically, that's the word to use. And then obviously Belfast was bombed on a few occasions. But yeah, people just basically called it the emergency because that's what it basically was. Because obviously the Irish state, the Irish Free State, in 1926 it kind of gained its own self-independence. I suppose more independence than it did beforehand. In 1926 with the first Irish Constitution. Removing the king as head of state and appointing the president Douglas Hyde. Ireland basically was only developing as a new state, and I suppose it was an emergency because the whole state institutes and formats wasn't formalized, so it was an emergency because everybody they didn't know what to do with it, and especially because they didn't know they could be invaded by the Germans, they could be invaded by the British. They didn't know as well, and that's why they just referred to it as the emergency. Armenia and Azerbaijan, yeah. Yeah, they only had a ceasefire. Yeah, they're fighting among each other, so that's the only part, like, apart from the USSR, former territories of the USSR. Like Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are doing well. Obviously, Ukraine obviously used to be a former part of the USSR. Um, that's not contributing at the moment, obviously. But Poland and Romania and all that are formerly Eastern communist satellite states. Gavin Man's richer than Saudi Arabia, of course, yeah. Of course. Like the Donbass, yeah. Like a small bit of territory, yeah. I know, yeah, I know what you're talking about, that small bit. But it's not really much of a country. It's about a few centimeters wide, and it's not that big of a country. Oh yeah, I know. There's loads of which help countries and which countries that could help out. But a lot of people, it's all about greed. People just don't want to spend the money. You know, they rather keep it for themselves. It's the same with Bill Gates and the majority of rich people around the world. If they wanted to do something with it's like they look at Bill Gates and even Elon Musk. Like you see the amount of money they have. If they all put the money together, like I don't know, 30 something billion maybe, or maybe more than that. It's probably more than that. But say if they all every year give 38 billion, right, towards feeding people in the world and clothing people. The whole world would basically be fed. If Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and everybody came together, all the rich people in the world, and the person over Amazon and stuff like that, all that put 38 billion a year away to feed to stop world hunger and stuff like that. The world would be a lot better place. But it's usually the only Joe that has nothing that gives up, and which is sad. Especially because again, you don't, Elon Musk and all these famous rich people, they don't need, and particularly Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. They have more money than they can count, and a few million or a few billion to some people. They wouldn't even notice what we've got on basically. But it's all about greed, and that's basically what capitalism is too. The workers get poor, and the people that push the pen get richer, basically. Anyway, go for another minute, but not long, much longer. But we'll be probably live again with Far Cry later on. We will be live, sorry, not probably. We will be live. Yeah, like it didn't go well for them. Like it's funny, the supply before it wasn't called the Taliban on the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, was another name on it. But basically, the United States funded them obviously to stop the Soviets from coming into Afghanistan. So the United States gave them loads of money, basically guns and stuff like that, before 9/11 and stuff like that. So, because obviously the Soviets invaded, yeah, that's the name of it. I could never think of it, but yeah. So they funded them, the United States, and and they were around and done that. So, you know. Like literally, if any war happens in the morning anywhere, like let's be fair, the United States would be always the first person to say, "Here's some guns," enjoy basically. They're the first country in the world that like, "Here's some guns." Like if Ireland went and invaded Iceland in the morning or something, well not Iceland obviously because NATO would be involved and that wouldn't go well for us. But say Ireland were to invade, I don't know the Bahamas or something like that. The United States would be like, "Here's some guns, Ireland, enjoy." And then they also go to Bahamas and be like, "Here's some guns, Bahamas, enjoy." So like literally anybody at all, they give guns, so basically. The liberation of the island of man, exactly. But yeah, that's doing NATO. So an attack on one is an attack on all. So it wouldn't look too busting foreign if we went in the fate of the island of man. Imagine that in the new Alden wants to invade the island of man. It sparks a world war. You know, that'd be so. That wouldn't be funny now, but imagine that it sparks a world war. Of course, yeah, but that's one of many, I suppose. Let's put it that way. I just saved my How to Buy Info game. And then we leave it off here for a second, and then we be back later on to do Far Cry 5. Get a bit more done on that. Yeah, they don't want people fishing now. They're going to take off loads of boats out of the water, fishing boats, because Eamon Ryan thinks it's bad for the environment. Pretty much. No, I'm just saving my How to Buy Info game here. I won't be starting for another hour or two before we get on Far Cry tonight. I have a few more things I need to do tonight. So we leave now in 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, we will be live later. We definitely will be live for an hour or two. I know. So it might be late tonight. I know. So yeah, I don't know what time exactly. So it might be 11. Well, not be 11 now because that's a bit too. So it might be 12 or so. But yeah, we'll probably leave it there for the moment. Anything else before we go tonight? We'll be back later on anyway before if anybody wants to say anything. So good chat tonight about different things. And Douglas, what? Perhaps the Island Man looks lovely. Do you ever see a YouTube where what's his name and an American wife? No, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, the Bahamas is supposed to be nice, yeah. King Edward VIII during the Second World War was exiled to there as governor of Bahamas because of his Nazi sympathism, yeah. Ooh. So yeah, nothing else before we go on now, because don't be saying to me now in 5 minutes time, oh, I meant to say this to you before you went. America. Give me a second, I'm just looking up something here when I'm here. Oops, sorry. Hello, Zoe, how you doing? Everybody's watching me from Wexford. There's a lot of people watching me from Wexford. Um, always good. Always good to see. Anyway, I'm just looking something up here before I leave. So sorry, give me 2 seconds. I meant to do this earlier on, didn't get around. So just doing it now and have the chats. So we're just chilling here for a second, sorry. So if anybody has anything to say before we go, now is the time to say it. So. Yeah, the Holy Week is this week. This week coming. It's Good Friday this week. This Friday coming. Yeah, exactly. It won't be long now to Christmas because we're already in April. So think about that for a second. Think about that tonight, Tony. We're already in April. Let's be over indeed, yeah. Not too much longer now, no. Yeah, anybody's off for that, so. A lot of people be off drinking and stuff like that. Indeed. So I'm just looking up something here, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. So forgive me for a moment. But yeah, anything else before we go for the moment? Night, Stephen. Take care. A few coolers indeed. So I'm just looking at something here. That's why I'm just taking a few minutes because I just do it now and just chat at the same time if anybody wants to ask me anything or anything. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. So we'll be back later on. I talked to you then.